back, relax, and maybe get yourself a snack. Me and you gonna have a little chat about books. Hey guys! So I am here today to talk to you about two books, both of which are in the same series and both of which I audiobooked, hence why I will put a picture on the screen. So the books are the first two in the Gods of Blood and Powder series, which is by Brian McClellan. I previously tried to read the Powder Mage series by Brian McClellan when they first came out. I read the first one and I thought it was okay, but not really anything special, so I wasn't planning to go back to this series for a while. But this is a new series set in the same world, and I was definitely intrigued about it, whether or not he would be a better writer now because it wasn't going to be his debut. And I think he definitely is, considering the fact that I whizzed through book 1 and book 2, and I'm now very excited for book number 3. I actually saw a review of this from Esme. I'll link her Twitter down below because she has a blog where she reviews books and she's great. And she said that she really enjoyed this one and she felt like it was a much stronger book than his Powder Mage series, which I agree with. It is set in the same world, but you can read this without having read the Powder Mage series. That is fine. You will possibly spoil yourself a little bit for the Powder Mage series, so only do that if you don't mind potential spoilers, but it doesn't need the other series to kind of explain what's happening. So in both of the books, we have a nation called Fitrasta, and in that land we have a couple of different characters who we follow. First up, we have Lady Vlora Flint. She is the head of a mercenary group, and in the first book she is hired, and her mercenaries are hired to root out someone called Mama Palo, who is causing a lot of ruckus in the town, someone who is fighting back against the police of this place, and someone who needs to be stopped in the eyes of the capital. We then have Mama Palo herself, who is, as I say, some sort of revolutionary character. No one really knows who she is exactly, but they all know that she works out of the depths, which is essentially a very, very large slum in the city, and so she is being hunted down. We also then have Mad Ben Stike, who is quite a fun character. He's someone that I think probably I connected with the most easily out of these characters at first. He is someone who's been trapped in jail for a long time. He's a mad lancer, someone who was basically regarded as a war hero, but then over time he kind of has been forgotten from history. People thought he was dead, he was trapped in the prison, and he was unspoken of. So his legend lives on, but people don't really know he does. And in the book, he ends up being broken out of prison by someone who wants him to work for him, and then we follow his story from there. We also have Mikkel, who is a character that I certainly enjoyed. He is actually a spy who is working for the Black Cats, and they are the police force who kind of basically go around and enforce all the laws and make sure people are kept in line. They do all the sort of backhanded work, back alley work, and they are essentially a spy network as well. So he is infiltrating them, little do they know, and he is actually working for a different master. And we gradually find out more and more about his cause and what he's doing, but you don't find out at first. So I'm not going to tell you and spoil it. But he is great as a character, and again, I really liked him. I think he took a little bit of time to sort of warm up, but when his plot got going, it really got going. And then we have Tampo, who is a puppet master of sorts, kind of in the background, pulling all the strings, but no one quite knows what he is aiming towards or who he is. Again, as I say, I really enjoyed all of the characters, and it's quite hard to choose a definite favourite, although I think that Vlora and Mad Ben are definitely up there. In the second book, I think that shifts a little bit towards Mikkel because he becomes more of a main character, and Ben and he get a lot more development. But in general, I really like all the characters, and I couldn't have said that I'd choose one above the others because they're all really, really great and very well developed and fleshed out, which I feel was lacking from the Powder Mage series, but actually in this series, much stronger development of the characters, the world, and just generally the plot as well. We do have magic in this world. We have powder mages, and powder mages are people who can basically react and use the powder or gunpowder within guns and other things that it might come in, so they are able to trigger it or to diffuse it and things like that, which is very helpful when fighting battles, so they're quite well regarded. We also have privileged who can do sort of sorcery, dragon men who are like semi-evolved basically gladiators from the sounds of it, and even we have blood magic as well. So there's a lot going on in the background of this book, and as you kind of uncover the plot, you also find out more and more about the magic and how it all works. There's also some pretty big artifacts which are a key point of the story and a large part of the plot, and these are magical. On the whole, it was a very entertaining story, one that I really enjoyed, and certainly set up for book number 2 really strongly, because the ending is a massive cliffhanger. So of course I basically just decided to go straight on to book number 2 after giving the first one a 4 out of 5 stars. So book number 2 is called Wrath of Empire, and this one again follows the same character from the first one, but like I said, Mikkel and Ben both get a lot more developed in this one. I feel like with Ben we really get to see his humanity and a bit more of his personal life in this story, and I just felt like I could really connect with him a lot more in the series from this book onwards. In this one we're focusing on a large scale invasion. All of our characters are involved in this in various ways. Mikkel is back in the city. There's a lot of hiding and spying and basically undercovering going on, and I really think his plot was great in this one. It definitely felt like the most exciting and tense, and again, cliffhangers everywhere, so many cliffhangers. I think Laura and Two Shot's story was a little bit less exciting in this one at times, but it still felt really strong, and I do feel like the whole of this book felt super fast paced. There was not a moment where I felt bored. It was all really exciting. There were lots of battles and skirmishes. There were things happening in all areas of the world, not only to do with battling, but also to do with magic, to do with sort of underhandedness, plotting. Definitely a lot to like about this series and this world, and the characters themselves just make it brilliant. So I really enjoyed it, and I thoroughly would recommend this series, and I'm definitely excited for the 3rd book because, as I say, cliffhangers. So many cliffhangers. Especially book 2 is, I feel like, even more filled with cliffhangers. So I need book 3. I'm very excited about it. I definitely enjoyed it. I ended up giving book 4 a 4.5, and I'm really looking forward to finding out what is going to happen at the end of this series. It's going to be dramatic. I know that much already. So those are the reviews for those 2 books. I'd love to hear your thoughts if you've read them, or if you've read other Brian McClellan stuff. Let me know what you think. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you very soon in my next video. Bye guys!
Thank you for watching my video today. Go pick up a book, then come back and chat with me again.